Hi guys, this is Ankur again and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to explain you about OAuth 2.0, understanding of OAuth and explanation about it and how we can use this. What is the flow of OAuth? Okay, first of all, please subscribe to my channel. If you guys have already did not do that, please do that so that you can easily get all the videos which I am going to post related to Java J2E technologies. There are many videos coming with the latest technologies we are working on currently. Okay, so OAuth 2. Actually, you guys are aware that nowadays there is a lot of concentration on the authorization and authentication work and the security of the applications. So, OAuth 2 is such a famous framework and it has so much benefits everywhere. Like now, many companies like Google, Microsoft, and other companies like Amazon are giving their frameworks which you can use for OAuth 2 authentication. And some of them are like free of cost for particular level. Like you can use them till you are using your applications and your simple applications, you can use them freely. So those are available. But to use that, you need to understand what is OAuth 2, how it works, what is there in the framework. So we'll start with that today. Now I'm going to explain you what all the different type of roles in the OAuth 2 we have. We have There is something known as resource owner, there is something resource server, client, authorization server. These are the basic roles which are defined there for OAuth 2. Resource owner who grant access to the protected resources, and resource server, the server hosting the protected resources. This is the API you want to access. Client accessing, requesting access to the protected resource on behalf of resource owner. Then authorization server that authenticates the resource owner and issue tokens after getting proper authorization. So these are the basic four roles which are there for the which are used in the OAuth 2. You may not use all the roles in all the implementation. There are multiple implementations of OAuth 2. Okay, when we talk about like there is a different for, if you want for a web application, there is a different implementation you need to use. If you want for a application which is just a API and you are just hitting to from one application to another application, then there is a different implementation, different flow, different type of things you need to do in your application for that. And then there is the like mobile application. If you want to use for mobile, then it is different. So there are multiple implementations and flow and framework available in the OAuth 2. So we will do those all one by one, but today I'm just going to explain you how you can use it for your web application. When you talk about web application, what all you need to do, how you can implement that, how the flow happens, everything will be explained you in details. But the implementation and actual communication will be shown in the later presentations or in the later videos I am going to upload. Today I'm just going to explain you the concept so that you are aware of what happens inside the OAuth 2. If you go through this video, you will get to know what all happens there, what all we need to do, and you can achieve that very easily. So I'm already told you there are multiple flows, but what we are going to do, we are going to work on simple web application flow. Okay, the authorization code is the name of the flow which is used for web application. Okay, what it is like, in the OAuth 2 there is something called grant type or uh, the response type, method type, which defines how you want to use the OAuth 2. Okay, so for the basic web application we going to use authorization code. Then there are different others. One is the token only, then there is credentials. So there are different flows, but we will not discuss about that today. Today we are going to discuss about authorization code, which is for the web application. Okay, what happens in this, the authorization code or web server flow is suitable for the clients that can interact with the end user agents like web browser. When end user is communicating using the web browser, the client application, web application which interact with that, this flow is for that web application. Okay, that can receive incoming requests from the authorization servers and can act as a HTTP server. So it's standing as a HTTP server between your user and the authorization server and the resources. Okay, so that is the flow we are going to do today. Okay, so what happens in this? Now I will just give you the brief introduction first. Web server redirects user to the API gateway. Okay, what happens when a user comes for your application, web application, he clicks the login URL? What happens in the auth2? It just forward your URL to directly the authentication server. What happened there? User enters his user ID and password to the authentication server. Authentication server will generate the authorization code for that particular user by validating his user ID and password, and then that authorization code will be sent to your web application, which is already defined, or which has some parameters set on the your authorization server. Okay, there is like client ID and then client secret, some of the keys which has been already provided to the authorization server by your web application. Okay, and also the redirect URL which has been which will be configured in the authorization server. So after the successful response, where it has to go into your web application. So that is how, and then it sends the authorization code to your web application. Then your web application will come again to the authorization server with that authorization code which has been sent by validating the user credentials. The authorization code has been sent to the web application, that will be validated from in the authorization server, and then sent to the your web application. Your web application is going to send that with the client ID, client secret, and other things, and then get the access token response from the authorization server to the your client application. Once you get that authorization token, you can use that authorization token with all the requests to get the access to the actual resources. So this is the basic flow. Now we will see in little detail how it goes. So this is how it happens actually. User clicks on the login link, it goes to the web client hit the authorization server with the authorization code request. Okay, okay, it will hit that, and then this authorization server will redirect user to the credential screen where user is going to add his credential. User enter his credentials, authorization server validates that and send the authorization code back to the web client. In the step 5, it is sending that authorization code back to the web client. Now web client will do what it will do. It will add that authorization code, client ID, client secret into the header, authorization header, and then send that token request to the authorization server. Once a server receives the token request, it again validates your client ID, client secret, authorization code, and then it will issue a access token, which is short-lived token. It will send that access token back to the web client on the step 8. Okay, this access token is for some time. With access token you will get the refresh token also, part of the response, and you need to use that when your access token is expired after some time. So when you are again trying to access the different resources using that access token, so then after that what you do, the web client will call the resource request with access token in the authorization header. It will pass the access token in the authorization header and then call the resource, and the resource will be returned to the user. Okay, so this process is only part of the authorization. So these many steps will be performed for your authorization, and you can get these APIs directly. They are free available, but you should know how to perform all these steps. Now to perform these steps, you should know the structures of the requests which you are going to send. You can send this request from any of your client, like you are using JavaScript, or you are using your Angular client, or anything you are using for web. You can directly send those API requests to the your authorization server. It can be anything. it can be you have created yourself, you can implement your own authorization server. That also I will going to give you in details in my next videos. And but just subscribe my channel for that, so that you can easily get all that. I'm going to give you detail how you can create your own authorization server, or how you can use the other of, like I'm going to give details on Amazon's authorization server which you can use, or I have another samples which I will show you guys later on. So this is the request. Get request with the code type. It is going to get client ID, it is passing redirect URL, it is passing scope, it is passing. Some of elements are optional and some of them are required, so you need to follow those. Okay, then you will get the authorization code in the response here. Okay, next what we do, request to the token endpoint. Okay, so now you are going to pass the authorization code which you got, redirect URL, and then you are going to pass that to the your authorization server, and it will return you the access token, token type, and then expiry time and refresh token, which will be used when your token is going to expire. So that time you will use this refresh token. Okay, so this is how you are going to get the token, and then you use that token and then perform all the requests. So the steps are, what are those steps? First, user try to log in, click the URL of the web application redirects it to the authorization server for the code. Authorization server presents UI where user logs in. Okay, user logs into that, add his credentials, goes to the authorization server checks for the credential, pass the authorization code back to the user, web client again take that authorization code, add the client ID, secret ID, whatever it has already communicated to the resource authentication server. It passes those, get the response back from there. Then finally it will again send that it will get the refresh token, access token from there, and then it will send this access token with all the requests to the resource server. With all the requests after that, it will go to the resource server, and that resource server and authorization servers keep on checking that if the refresh token, access token is still valid or not. If it is not valid, it will send back the response that this is already expired, so you need to get the another one. So to get the another access token, you need to pass the access token as well as refresh token. It will give you the another access token generated. So that is how you are going to use it. So there will lot more information coming up in this, lot more requests, responses, how you handle that, how you work on that, how you can do this from your Angular application, your microservices and other applications. I am going to give all the explanations in the coming videos. Also the coding part also I am going to give, so please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss that and you can easily implement these in your projects. So thank you guys, thank you very much, thank you guys.